Sporting Journal Radio, presented by Onyx.
Well, it's not hunting season yet. We're going to stick with fishing for a little bit longer. We'll talk fishing all the way through fall too, but we'll definitely be devoting more time to hunting as we get into the hunting seasons. But for now, some late summer fishing patterns is a topic of discussion, and we're going to bring on Randin Olson from Lockjaw Guide Service up in Ottertail Lakes Country. Randin, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. It's finally cooling off. It's not 90 degrees. Life's good.
It's so nice. I know we've had some storms, a little bit of rain here this last week. The rain obviously is much needed. Prior to that rain, what were you seeing out there for, were the water levels still pretty low?
Yeah, all of our area lakes are pretty low right now. Still easily fishable, sorry. But you do got to watch out a little bit. You're going to nick a prop once in a while and stuff like that. But we're still catching plenty of fish. The fishing hasn't changed a whole lot with the water levels. Just people's attitudes towards getting out in the lake.
What have you been targeting mostly?
We've been hitting a lot of crappies and walleyes lately. More walleyes than anything else. And really, really, really shallow, like 2 to 6 foot. That's actually deeper than I think the last time we talked. They made it an extra foot deeper out there now. But
yeah, right.
And we've been using some oddball stuff, stuff that guys don't usually think of to throw for walleyes. We've been throwing like tube baits, chatter baits, spinner baits, jerk baits, kind of walk the dog, subsurface walk the dog baits, things like that. And the fish just love them. It's not something they're normally seeing. And in that shallow water, you're going for reaction strikes to begin with. So these baits kind of work perfect for doing that.
Now, when it comes to finding some of those fish in the shallower water like that and using some oddball type presentations, are you finding a variety of sizes or eater sizes? Are you finding some of the bigger fish too, or what are you finding when you do stuff like that?
Say that again? I didn't quite understand it. Sorry.
What size of fish are you finding when you do this?
We're finding a lot of bigger fish up there. You'll catch a smaller fish, just like in that picture you showed. That one I think was like a 15-incher. But the majority of the fish you're catching up there are pretty good size. Yeah. And it's not that you're running into one big pack. The fish are a little spread out. This is August. Fish are kind of spread out in August. But you stick with this pattern and cover those big flats or rock piles or weed beds that you're fishing. The average size you'll pull out of there is going to be better than it is if you throw a jig and a minnow or a Lindy rig or kind of the go-tos for walleyes this time of year. So, yeah, the average size is quite a bit nicer.
Now, do you think that that's working because it's something different that maybe the walleyes haven't been seeing every day for the last few months out there? Or what do you think the reason is for that?
Yeah, I definitely think just to be having something new like that in front of those fish's faces is one of the biggest triggers for it. You got bass guys have been catching them on this stuff for years. It's just taken walleye fishermen a long time to catch up.
Yeah, but walleye fishermen don't listen to bass fishermen very often.
Well, you know what they say, God created bass so everybody could catch fish, right?
Right.
But yeah, this stuff has always worked. Guys in Devil's Lake have been using spinner baits for years.
Yeah. For
walleyes in the weeds and wood and stuff like that. And it just, for some reason, it doesn't click in our brains to try it out here. And it's been working.
Now, are you targeting, when you find these fish in that shallow water, are you finding them all day long? Is it mornings and evenings? Is it cloudy, sunny? Does it matter?
It does matter a little bit. It seems like they're up there all day long. They'll move out a little deeper. And when I say deeper, they'll move out to like 7 to 10 foot. That's kind of where they drift off to. But what you'll kind of notice, and what I've noticed, is the more you get towards the middle of the day, the better the bite gets. And the farther you get from the middle of the day, the worse the bite gets.
That doesn't make any sense.
Now, it doesn't. And my theory is you can watch the guys behind us in the mornings and evenings picking them off the weed lines like crazy. But we're getting them from, that mid-morning all the way till dark. We're getting them up there in 2 to 5 foot of water. And this time of year, you get a ton of those crayfish, the small bait perch. A lot of that bait system is stuck up in shallow water. real shallow. And then you get any kind of wind or anything, and it just groups them all together, and it's just easy pickings up there. They can't go nowhere. So I think that's just what it comes down to with these fish, is it's easier on them to get food, realistically. You know, they don't have 30 feet of water to chase them. They've got 4 feet or 2 feet. So I think that's what's been causing this to be so good.
Are you experimenting with colors, or do you have some go-tos when it comes to fishing shallow like that?
One more time? My microphone's not working.
Are you experimenting with colors a little bit, or do you say, nope, I'm throwing a white jig at these guys?
I don't think color's a really big thing. I think this stuff's going by them so quick. You're looking at just reaction bites for the most part. You're running this stuff fast. You know, even like the tube baits and stuff, you're ripping it, and you're really working this stuff fast. So color-wise, I mean, you can kind of stay in the general ballpark of like the greens and whites and golds and stuff, but color hasn't made a huge difference up there.
When it comes to those plastics that you're using, are you using something that's got some scent to it, some sort of attractant, or is it more, again, just that, you know, something's zinging past those fish and you're triggering that strike just with the aggressive presentations?
Yeah, the big triggering factor here has been the size. We're running, you know, 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce chatterbaits, and same with the spinner baits. And then we're putting 5 to 7 inch swim baits on the back of those. So we got a pretty big profile down there. Same with the tubes. We're running 4.5 to 6 inch tubes. So you want that bigger bait down there, but that's probably the most important part of this. That's what they're up there for. One bigger meal is easier than 30 small ones. So that's kind of been the attitude we went with.
I've been hearing a lot about our show, the Prairie Sportsman episode that we filmed, the Muskie episode that we filmed, and I know a few guys that are planning to go to that lake that we filmed on. When are you gonna transition over to muskies, Randin?
I will be starting my muskie trips probably another week or so here. We got the moon phases coming up shortly. That's going to be a big time of year to get those fish. The muskie bite from some of my friends has already been picking up really good, and they're already getting some better fish. August is generally known as kind of the transition month when the nights start cooling off, the water temps cool off, and kind of midnight to sunrise is really the best time of day to be chasing those muskies. It's just going to get better and better from here on out. So, you know, September's a big casting month. So get your spinach out and start ripping some baits, because it's time to go fast.
What kind of water temperatures are you seeing out there? I know when it got real hot there and we had some mid-90s, I think we were touching 100 a little bit for air temps. People were saying, hey, leave the muskies alone for now. Are you seeing some water temps come back down to, you know, normal temperatures for this time of year?
Yeah. The last week has been pretty normal. We've been sitting around 72 to 73, 74. Some of the small lakes are still a little warmer, but we're pretty much back to normal right now. Minus the water level, it's kind of like every other August in the last 10 years. So that's good. We were getting dangerously close. We were starting to see tulubies and eel pout and things like that floating up to the surface just from the water getting too hot. But we've been able to correct that now. Water temps are back to normal and everything's right on track.
Well, that's good to hear. Just in time for me for hunting season, because I'm definitely it's that time of year, Randin, where it becomes a struggle for me to decide between the shotgun or the fishing pole. But do you pretty much just spend every day in the fall fishing, or do you do a little bit of hunting too?
I love to hunt when I can. I got into bow hunting 3 years ago. It was probably the biggest mistake of my life. But yeah, it's. I think the fall is hard for any sportsman. You wake up and the weather's good or bad, it looks like a perfect day to be hunting or fishing. You know, and I'm one of those guys that get excited when I see clouds in the sky and rain's falling and it's kind of crappy out, because that means nobody else is going to go out there and I'm going to have the lake to myself or the field to myself. We actually just set some deer cameras yesterday, me and my son, so we're looking forward to see what we capture on that and go forward.
Yeah, I just got my cameras up too, and I know some people have had them up for, you know, at least a month already, and I've just been jealous seeing some of these trail cam photos. So I finally got mine up and starting to see some deer. Saw my first buck on the trail camera, a nice little 6-point that'll be a good deer in a couple of years. So I got the itch. I'm ready. I'm ready for fall, Randin. Ready for it.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, you got some openings for muskie guiding this fall with Lockjaw?
We got a few, mostly weekdays left. All my weekends have been booked up for quite a while now, but we got some weekdays open. If you've ever wanted to catch a muskie, September, October is the time to do it. And muskies aside, it's a great time of year just to catch anything. The crappie school up, the walleye school up, everything's down there and ready to rock and roll. So best time of year is upon us right now. We're just getting into it.
And how do they reach you if they want to book a guided trip?
Well, the best thing to do is we're currently getting a new website built. So the one that's on there now stay up, but we're getting a brand new website built. And so the best way to get a hold of me is just give me a call at 218-640-0158.
All right. And of course, you want to find out more about Ottertail Lakes Country, go to ottertaillakescountry.com. Randin Olson, Lockjaw Guide Service. Thanks for the time today on the show.
Thank you.
Hear more at sportingjournalradio.com or wherever you get podcasts. 852 million acres of public land, 147 million private properties, all in the palm of your hand. The #1 hunting GPS app just got better. With hundreds of custom map layers, 3D and topographic maps, you can easily scout on the road or at home before you go. And now you can get important weather details, CWD detection, and even know what crops have been planted where. Get the most trusted hunting GPS app ever made. OnX. Know where you stand with OnX.